time to warm up. A force is a push or a pull on an object. A push moves it away from you. A pull moves it close to you. Time to know. Force is that factor which is necessary to change the position and state of a body. When you push a cart, it moves. It also moves if you pull it towards you. A push or pull is called a force. When you push a toy car on a carpet, it slows down and stops after some time. The force which acts on it to slow it down is called the force of friction. When you throw a ball up, it slows down, stops, and then falls down. This force which pulls down the ball is called gravity. Types of forces. Gravity. Gravity is the attractive pull between any two objects. It is the force of nature attracts all objects in the universe to all other objects in the universe. The same force that keeps us on the earth. The gravitational force at the surface of the planet is the force that binds all bodies to earth. This force is one of the four forces recognized by physics, and this kind of force is known as gravity. Fact finder. When force is used on an object and it moves through a distance, we say that work is done. Friction. Friction or frictional force is the force that acts between two surfaces in contact. When the surfaces of two bodies are in contact with each other, a force is required to move or slide one of them over the other. This is because there is usually another kind of force which acts to oppose or prevent the movement of one body over the other. This opposing force is known as friction, and its magnitude depends on the nature of the surface of the bodies in contact. Types of friction. There are two types of friction, namely static and kinetic friction. Static friction is called limiting friction, takes place when there is no motion, while kinetic friction, also known as dynamic or sliding friction, occurs when there is motion. Work. In our day-to-day life, we use the word work very frequently, and it means some job, but in science it has a specific meaning. When you use force to move things, you do work. When force is used on an object and it moves through a distance, we say that work is done. For example, when a man lifts a weight to a certain height from the ground, the muscular force which he exerts does work against the force of gravity. Work is done when a load is lifted. When we lift our body above the ground, when we climb stairs, throw a ball into the air, or even when we open a door or crack a nut. So in simple words, when force is applied on a body to make it move through a distance, against the force of gravity, work is done. Work always involves overcoming some opposing forces. Secondly, when we push some heavy objects like a box, we work against the frictional force. So, the resistance is either against the force of gravity or the frictional force. Energy. Energy is the ability to do work. A car needs energy to move. Wind needs energy to make trees sway. Energy is required to change matter. Energy is available in different forms such as heat energy, light energy, and electrical energy. Capacity or ability to do work is called energy. To do any work, energy is used. A body is said to possess energy when it is capable of doing work or of overcoming resistance. Thus, work and energy have a strong relationship. Energy is spent when work is done. Energy is the stored capacity to do work. Energy moves cars along the roads and makes aeroplanes fly. It plays our music on the radio and lights our homes. Energy is used for our bodies to gather with plants and grow and move about. Thermal energy. Matter is made up of particles or molecules. These molecules move or vibrate constantly. A rise in the temperature of matter makes the particles vibrate faster. Thermal energy is what we call energy that comes from the temperature of matter. The hotter the substance, the more its molecules vibrate, and therefore the higher its thermal energy. Light energy. The potential for light to perform work is called light energy. Light energy is the only form of energy that we can actually see directly. It is formed through chemical, radiation, and mechanical means. Light energy can also be converted into other forms of energy. Energy. Light source. Light, electromagnetic radiation, photoreceptors. Electrical energy. Electrical energy is energy that is stored in charged particles within an electric field. Electric fields are simply areas surrounding a charged particle. In other words, charged particles create electric fields that exert force on other charged particles within the field. The electric field applies the force to the charged particle, causing it to move. In other words, do work. Sound energy. Sound energy is the energy produced by vibrating sound waves. Vibration of an individual air molecule. Sources of energy. The sun is our main source of energy. It gives us heat and light energy. Moving water and air also have energy. This energy is mostly used to generate electricity. Fuels such as coal, oil, gas, or petrol are excellent sources of energy. They are used to run machines and cars, for heating homes, cooking, and for many other purposes. Living beings need to perform life processes to survive. To perform these activities, they need energy which they get from the food they eat. What about machines? They also perform many activities. They do work which would be too difficult for us to perform. They make our life simpler. Don't they also need energy? What are the substances that give them energy? Primary energy sources, meaning energy is created directly from the actual resource, can be classified into two groups, non-renewable or renewable. Secondary sources are derived from primary sources. Non-renewable energy sources. Energy from the ground that has limited supplies, either in the form of gas, liquid, or solid, are called non-renewable resources. They cannot be replenished or made again in a short period of time. Examples include oil, petroleum, natural gas, coal, and uranium nuclear. Oil, natural gas, and coal are called fossil fuels because they have been formed from the organic remains of prehistoric plants and animals. Renewable energy sources. Energy that comes from a source that's constantly renewed, such as the sun and wind, can be replenished naturally in a short period of time. Because of this, we do not have to worry about them running out. Examples include solar, wind, biomass, and hydropower. Currently, about 20% of the world's electricity comes from renewable sources. There is a global debate as to whether geothermal energy is renewable or non-renewable. Secondary energy sources. Energy that is converted from primary sources to secondary sources of energy. Secondary sources of energy are used to store, move, and deliver energy in an easily usable form. Examples include electricity and hydrogen. Time to recall. Friction is the force that acts between two surfaces in contact. Energy that is converted from primary sources to secondary sources of energy. Oil, natural gas, and coal are called fossil fuels. Matter is made of particles or molecules. To do any work, energy is used. For formative and summative assessment. Time to answer. Answer the following questions. What can force do? What do you mean by fuel? Name some common fuels. Name 3 sources of energy that derive their energy from the sun. Write short notes on energy. What are the different sources of energy? Define work and write about it. Oral questions for FA. Fill up the following blanks using the clue kit. Capacity or ability to do work called. Energy is the energy produced by vibrating sound waves. The potential for light to perform work is called energy. Primary energy sources can be classified in 2 groups. Electricity and hydrogen are examples of sources. Clue kit. Secondary energy, non-renewable and renewable, light, sound, energy. Hot questions. Say yes or no to the following statements. Secondary sources of energy are used to store, move, and deliver energy. Solar, wind, biomass, and hydropower are examples of non-renewable energy sources. Secondary sources are derived from primary sources. Light energy is the only form of energy that we cannot actually see directly. Energy is the stored capacity to do work. Look at the picture below and label what forms of energy is being used. Communication. Each type of energy has advantages and disadvantages. Research each source and complete the table below. Information skills. Energy source. Source always available. Good points. Bad points. When, where is the source worth exploiting? Solar, wind, wave, biomass, geothermal, hydropower, tides, coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear power. For formative assessment, time to do project work. Collect pictures of a few dams in India and paste them in your scrapbook. Color the picture and also write what kind of energy they use. Life skills. Energy conservation refers to reducing energy consumption through using less of an energy service. Energy conservation differs from efficient energy use, which refers to using less energy for a constant service. For example, driving less is an example of energy conservation. Driving the same amount with a higher mileage vehicle is an example of energy efficiency. Energy conservation and efficiency are both energy reduction techniques.